All right, so this is going to be probably the last part in our entire section of building our SaaS application, SaaS Starter Kit. In this video, we are going to work with simple things. First of all, I'll walk you through that if there is an admin route, how you can protect your admin and write logics for that. Really easy, but there is a little bit of clerk involved in it. So I wanted to mention that, hey, this is how you do it. So we'll be writing code together. And rest of the things, you're going to write that, whatever functionality you want to give the admin. Maybe you want to have the functionality to search all the users. Pretty basic. Just hit the prisma.user.search and find all of them and just list it. That's really the basic. Just get the data. Apart from this, we are also going to move into the front-end side of it. So at least I'll give you a brief overview idea. We'll write some code together as well, that how the front-end is handled, and we'll walk you through with a couple of hooks, which are really favorite these days for me and for the entire team here. They are really enjoying these hooks, and they will help you to do things faster and easier way. So that section is going to be the front-end side of it, and we'll learn that from front-end how we can request those APIs, which we are creating from the last video, and receive some data and just display the data. Use shadcn, whatever the library you want to use, but that's basically it. Just get the data. That is the most important part for us. So let's get started with this. So all right. So where we are right now, just look at the file structure. So we'll talk about the file structure in a minute, but first of all, I'm in the API, and this is my /admin route, and you can have many admin routes. Maybe in the admin you want to have further like admin to-dos, whatever you want to go, but this basically we are writing the APIs in this one. So first of all, let's bring up some of the top games. So these are common, so we'll just grab it, this one here. So nope, wrong place, cut this out, Command Z. We want to be in the API admin. This is the place. I'll just close the page. We want to be in the route because we are writing the APIs. So this is the part where you're writing the admin APIs. I don't know what you want to achieve in this functionality. That's totally up to you. And what I want to show you is how to verify that whether you are admin or not. So in this case, we're going to write a simple function that is going to just return you that. So is admin, just like that. And we are going to grab the user ID, and that will be a string. So whoever is using this method will pass me that. So we have already seen in the past that how we can have a simple user ID that we can grab from the auth, from the clerk. And once this is being provided, now how can we get the request of it? For this, just go ahead and await, obviously. And then we are going to use a clerk client for this one. Again, the clerk client will be coming up on the server side itself. And from this, you can actually go ahead and use a method which says, first of all, users. So all the users have this property. And then you can see there's so many of activities again that we can do. It's a matter just calling this get user, which gives you all the property of this user. You have to provide which user you are looking up for. So we are looking up for a user ID, just like that. Once you have access of this, that means you have grabbed the user. So call it as user, whatever you want to call it. And our job is to find out whether in this user, this is the page that we discussed earlier, that the whole page, yeah, in that we have the public metadata, the private metadata, and all of that. So if the user that we have is having a private metadata, and inside that we have added a key value pair, whatever the key value pair you have added. In this case, it was a role admin, but it could be user admin, whatever you wish to give in that. So if that is equals to admin, that means it's going to be a true, and that's exactly what we want to return back. And there we go. A simple method which can be used anywhere now. You can put that into some utility as well. That, hey, this is my method which gives me the idea that whether any user is admin or not. So I told you, it's really simple. Once you understand the clerk mechanism and ecosystem, it's much easier to actually deal with that. All right, so this is the basic. I just want to discuss briefly about that. Now coming back onto the part. So go ahead, write all of your methods, get, post, and have more of this. Again, coming back, let's close the API. This is the backend part. In the NextJS, you write all of your backend in the /API. I have actually created another folder which says authenticated. This folder is enclosed in the parenthesis, the classic brackets. So parenthesis, this is a route accumulator. It doesn't create any route. So for example, if I just go ahead and create a folder like sign in or sign up and put a file inside this known as page.tsx, it creates that route. But if you go ahead and use this one, this is a route accumulator. It doesn't create a route. It can hold multiple of routes together. In this, all of the authenticated routes are placed, so it's collection of these routes. It doesn't create the route itself. Whatever I create inside this, like for example, /dashboard /subscribe, this will be there. So for example, if I open up the dashboard like this, the routes that it is creating, for example, sign up is directly there. So this is creating /sign up. This route is created just like that. The authenticated, since it's holded up with the parenthesis, it's not going to be there. So directly we'll have a dashboard. This will be a URL. Similarly, we will have a subscribe. So this is going to be the URL. In this, we create page.tsx because these are classic components. And in case you want to use something like hooks or something, use state and all of this, then the most important step is to have a use client. This makes it as a client component. So it has access to all the DOMs, all the elements that whatever you wish to have. Now, what I want to show you here that how we actually reach out to the backend part of it. I'm not much worried about how the user UI is going to look like because you can use shadcn, v0, whatever you like, or maybe another library for that, or classic bootstrap who is there to stop you. How we can actually work with that, a couple of things we are going to require for this one. So let's go ahead and say rfce, create a React functional component, call this one as dashboard, just like this. We'll work just on some of the functionality part. So the first functionality that we need is going to be, I need to grab a user. How you're going to grab the user? For this, there is a hook known as use user, and that comes from the clerk. So this is going to give you the user. We'll also need a couple of states to hold the to-dos because this is a dashboard for user. He will be seeing the to-dos, sending the to-dos. So we obviously need to hold that. Let's go ahead and say that this is going to be my to-dos. And this will be set to do so that I can later on loop through it, whatever I wish to do. And that will be coming up from use state and from the React itself. And there's an interesting thing. We can just go ahead and call it like this, that this will be an array and later on I can loop through. But since we are in the TSX TypeScript, what additionally you can do is you can define the type of it as well and can say I have a to do, which is a type we can actually get it from the Prisma, grab it and say that this will be an array of it. So again, additional stuff, you don't need to do it, but hey, let's just say we are having this one. Apart from that, we'll be needing a couple of things, but one of the most interesting thing I would like to walk you through is this package, usehook-ts. This is a TypeScript React hooks library, which is really awesome. You don't need it, but it makes your life a lot easier. If you look at the docs, they have so many things already up here. Like you want to use dark mode, you want to use copy to clipboard, you want to use booleans, you want to use debounce. There's a lot of things. You want to use local storage, screen. They have written some really, really useful things. And all you got to do is npm install just like this. So I'll copy this and let's go ahead and bring it up here. And that's it. Now you have access to all the hooks that this library has available to offer, and there are a lot of them. Somebody has taken really good amount of time for that. And what's important for me is in these kinds of application, when there is a search box or something, I really like to use debounce. So I'll just say give me use, and you can see so many of them, memo snippet, like so many of them. What I want to use is this debounce value, not the callback. So debounce value, notice here, custom hook that returns a debounced version of the provided value along with the function to update it. Yeah, that's what I want, and use hooks. And again, in order to use this one, let's just say that somebody is writing something. We have a search term. Let's hold that into a variable as well. Not variable, a state. So let's just say we have a search term, whatever user is searching, and we have set search term, and that will be a use state, just like that. And by default, its value is there. Now, how to use this debounce is actually an interesting one. Here, I can just go ahead and say this is going to be my use. I'll say instead of this, let me show you. I can use this hook, use debounce term, use debounce value. I can provide a search term to this and then mention that how much delay I want in this one. Let's just say we want a delay of 300 milliseconds. And now I can just go ahead and use it like this. Const, and I'll say debounce search term. Don't worry, I'll show you the exact implementation as well as we go forward. But rest assured that now we have an array which has both of these values, and we can enjoy other hooks as well where things can be debounced. And by the way, if you don't know the debounce concept, sometimes when you hit your APIs, it's a constant request of it. You don't want to keep on sending the APIs. You want some delay, intentional delay, that when user is typing, I don't want immediate request to be sent on each keyword type. I want some 300 milliseconds delay, some 400 milliseconds delay. This is a standard practice in every production app. All right. So how do you want to fetch the to-dos? So let's write a simple method for fetching the to-dos. Again, you need to have an API for this one. We have an API. Inside the API, we have this to-dos. And this classic hook that we have, the get method actually gets your all the to-dos. We have configured our search terms, pages, and all of that. But if you don't have anything, we still want to hit that API. And the whole idea behind this particular video is to walk you through that how this is all being done. So const, let's just say this is a method fetch to-dos. If somebody hits that method, however you want to do so, to-dos, there we go. For this, you can directly call a method, just work like that. But what additionally we can actually use here is a use callback. Now again, this use callback is not going to be required in future. This is a memoized version. So if there is nothing being changed, it doesn't make a request. It just gives you that to-dos. But as the React is updating and upgrading, things are changing. Now we have just a use hook, which is not yet in the production ready situation. But very soon these all things are about to change and I'm super excited. So follow me up on YouTube. I usually share that information there. So this is a use callback, and notice here it says, hey, give me the callback and the dependency list that on what things this is being dependent. Pretty simple, pretty basic. Let me just go ahead and work on with this one. So use callback. I'll write first the function because I want the async version of it. So this is my function, just like that. And then I need a dependency list as well. Like based on what should I fire this up or should I work with that? Again, this is an array. Just like you have used use effect hook or something like that, use callback is exactly same. I'll say debounce search term. Now what will happen is as soon as somebody writes this search term, we are not dependent directly on the search term. So if any change in the state happens, we will immediately be firing up this callback. But since we have used this use debounce value, that means this debounce term is only going to get updated after every 3 milliseconds, even if you constantly update that. Saves me some API calls. And this is how it works. Really basic standard structure. Once you see that, you'll never forget that. All right. Okay, how do we make an API request? Again, dealing up with the web and the systems, which is not always reliable. In fact, it's never reliable. Go ahead for the try catch or the promises, whichever one. Now in this case, I'll just go ahead and say await, use Axios, use anything. If you are interested in React query, that would be awesome. But in this case, let's go with the classic fetch. Where do you want to hit that? Now this is interesting. I want to hit a request which is /API and /todos. Do we have a to-dos? There we go. And after that, we also want to send additional parameters for which we have designed our GET request. So first of all, what we say is question mark. This gives you params in the URL. These are query terms. The moment you mention the question mark, that means yes, you are sending this one. The first thing that I want to send here is on what page we are on. So we'll just go like that. Right now, whoever is calling this method needs to provide me that on what page you are. Otherwise, how would I know that you are fetching the to-dos for first page or second page? So you need to send it to me. Whatever you're sending it to me, I'll send it as it is in the backend. So I'll just use a $sign here. There we go. Now, once I pass on this URL, I'll receive it here. And this is where I get this. Notice here, this page, I'm able to get this as a page. So this is how I'm sending this. The page matches here, the page here. So whatever is being fetched up there. Now, apart from this, you are also expecting that, hey, I am expecting a search term here as well. So I need to verify that. Oh, by the way, I forgot to declare a variable. This is a value. So I need to, sorry for that, page equals. So the search term are matched like that. So page equals whatever the page value is. And if you have more parameters, just write an ampersand sign. That means and I want to have a search term as well. Search is equals to $. And there we go. We don't want to give the search term. We want to give the debounced search term. There we go. So this is how you actually grab the value. So whatever the parameters you are expecting that, hey, I'm expecting a search params in the URL. So just directly extract that if you wish, or just look for it. Search params.get and then search params get whatever. So whatever the value you want to get, just get this. And these are my searching parameters. So all these parameters are like this. So this is how the API links are being made. All right, so this is the request we want to send, and whatever the response we get, we just hold that into a variable. So const response, just like that. Okay, you might be thinking the job is all done, and to be honest, no, there is a lot more cases you have to worry about, and that is why people are a big fan of a React query. React query. Again, you don't need to necessarily use React query, but it does a lot of job for you, and that is why people love this. So whenever you make a web request, there are a lot of chances that it's going to get fail. And you can see sometimes you need to refetch it, sometimes there are parallel queries, and sometimes there are prefetchings. And not only that, sometimes there is a loading situation, there is a suspense. Basically, I'm saying there's a lot of chances of this query getting failed, and we haven't handled that. For example, if I make a web request, there should be a loading page at that point of time. So I need to have a variable for that. Not variable, but state. When I say variable in the React world, it's just state. So we need to have a variable like this, which says loading set loading. And we'll be saying use state. And initially it will be false, just like that. And once I'm done with this, then immediately I have to set this one up. As soon as I make this web request, first of all, I should set this up. There's something being loaded. So as soon as I come up here and I make this, I should be saying set loading, and that needs to be turned as true. So yeah, this is the first part. Once you have received the request, and now you need to extract the data and turn this off. This whole thing, you don't need to do this. This whole thing are given to you automatically by the React query. I don't need to have declare another state. And this is just one example. React query does so much for you, automatically sending them. If there is a request that requires to send the chain of it, it does that. If there is a parallel request, it does so many things. Okay. So we have done this part, and now let's just inspect the response. The classic inspection that you will do is like this, response dot OK. And if you're not receiving a response like this, then we don't want to proceed further. We want to throw new error that says failed to fetch to-dos. Now at this point, if you have any toast library being injected or something, you might want to pop up a toast there that, hey, something went wrong and we might want to have it. But in this case, since this check is all done, that means we have received this whole thing. Now what we want to do this is this response needs to be converted into JSON. By the way, React query also does this for you. You don't have to write any code for this. It handles everything for you. And that is why it's famous. So all right, we got this one. And okay, this part is all good. Now just extract the value from it, how you are sending the value. So look at your route, how you are sending the data. We want to see this portion of it. So in this one, so data, this whole thing is a data. This object is called as data in our case. We have named this. Since this was not a named object, we named it up here as data. Call it Superman, doesn't really matter. Now from this, I can just call my set to-dos, this hook, and can say from the data, just go ahead and grab all the to-dos that we have received. So this whole to-dos that we have requested will be injected up here. Now it's your job to simply write a simple loop and go through with all of that. But we are since also getting a couple of more data like current page and total page, maybe you want to store that as well. So let's just say we'll set this up. So first of all, let's just say set total pages. We don't have that yet, but we'll declare that. Total page. I'm pretty sure I have total pages. That's what I want. Total pages. We will also have the current page. So set current page. And we are also receiving that. So data dot current page. Sometimes you write in the reverse order the things. We don't have these two things. So let's just say we come up here and say here. And this one will be set total pages. This one will be total pages. We'll have one more, which one will be set current page. And we'll be saying current page. There we go. You have a state for managing these two. And that's it. Now you have all the things. Don't forget to do a couple of things, which is set loading. We have this one. So set loading needs to be false now. And in the catch part also, you need to do the same thing. Whatever happens, the set loading needs to now go away. Set loading is false now, so that whatever the rendering and everything you're doing, it's gone now. So you saw that how easy it is to make a web request. It's not that much of a big deal. And yeah, that's exactly what we have to do. Now, if you have been studying from me or from any of my courses, by the way, check out the Udemy course as well. I am pretty sure we have discussed so many times that once you have data in this array format, it's just a matter of writing a simple loop. You can write that with the closed eyes. That's a joke, but you can write that. You get the part. All right. Now let's just say this is fetching to-dos. Now I also want that as soon as this page loads, somebody user comes up, he doesn't have to do this manually. He doesn't have to fetch the to-dos by clicking on a button. It should happen automatically. Anything that you want when the page loads up, you can actually use a really interesting hook, which is use effect. We have discussed that quite a lot in my React playlist as well. I go ahead, work it like this. There we go. And you provide the dependencies as well. Like whenever there is a change, based on what I should be actually fetching this up. So I'll just say, hey, fetch to-dos based on this. I can just go ahead and run this method. So if there is any change in this one, this method fetch to-dos, by the way, you can leave it empty as well if you wish. I'll just say, hey, let's just run the fetch to-dos method and provide 1 as because this is the first page for which I'm looking up for. Again, I'm not sure whether I should be putting up the fetch to-dos. Should I make this as a dependency? This is a question you need to ask yourself every single time. Whether on the page load this should happen or whether there's an update in this fetch to-dos, this should happen. I'll just say I'll remove it for now. I just want it to happen on very first initial load of the page, but depends. Test and trial run. What is the activity you want to achieve? What you are looking up for with that. Now, also, I would say that as soon as the page loads, I would love to have another method being there, which says that, hey, I want to know your subscription activity. So let's just create a method for that. So fetch subscription status. And for that, what we need to do. I don't think so there's a requirement of a sync code here or the callback here. You can remove the callback from the top as well if you wish. But I think that is a good choice there. I'll just go like this. Again, let's just say we want to await classic fetch. We go like that. What is the route that you want to hit? Again, so for this one, we have a subscription here, and this is the route that I want to hit. So it could be really simple, /API/subscription. And make sure you keep an eye on me. I keep myself as well. Notice here that I have actually mistyped it really, really bad. Let's rename this. This is a common thing. You're going to see me doing that. I do a lot of these. Subscription. And that is why I love AI. At least it fixes me up on these things. So make sure you are keeping an eye on that. These typos and to-dos. Make sure you catch me up there. All right, so we have hit that. Again, same thing. Hold the response just like this. And once it is there, classic check always happens if there is no response. No suggestion. No response dot OK. That means no response is coming up as OK. Same thing happens. If the response is not OK, copy that and paste it up there. There we go. This time, instead of saying that we failed to do the response and all of that. By the way, you can actually do the reverse order as well. If you have received the response OK, then also I can do such stuff. For example, I can just go ahead and say await response.OK. It's totally up to you how you want to define. And no, it's not OK. It's sorry. Typing and writing at the same time is challenging. But again, it's just the way of writing the code. It's a style of writing code. Some people write negative code really well. Like if there is no response, throw the error, then only move. Some people write to like this. It's a choice. And again, let's just hold this into a data just like that. Now you have the response. So analyze your APIs, that how you are sending the subscription. So if we go up there, notice here it gives me 2 of the data, which is subscribed, and it gives me set is subscribed. So we need a couple of states for this one as well, so that I can know that whether you are subscribed or not. Let's do that here at the top. I can just have a simple state which says is subscribed, and this one is going to be set is subscribed. And now I have a state to manage. And what I'll do in this subscribe stage, initially false is okay, you are not subscribed. And once I hit a call to, where is my method? Here it is. Once I have this method that I have called, I would like to update your status on that. So whatever the status I'm receiving, I would like to set that. So I'll just say set is subscribed. And in that I do have a data, and data have a property of, which I'm receiving here, is subscribed. So whatever the value is, true and false, I like to just add it up there. Now once I have this being set, that's it. Somebody can actually do something based on it, like show the subscribe button or can hide it from the DOM itself. But one thing I would love to do is once I fetch the to-dos, or even before that, I would love to call this method as fetch subscription status. Nothing needs to be done. You can just call it directly. So as soon as the page loads, I will have an access of this. Now, just like this, you can also work on other methods as well. Maybe on the dashboard itself, you want to provide user that, hey, I will give you the access. Why are you having an issue, API? We are having an issue on node modules folder. That's too much. What did I do? Or do I need a reload? Yeah, seems like we needed a reload just there. Stuff happens. Anyways, you get the idea. This is the realistic approach of how development works, and I wanted to show you a whole raw picture of how things are done. All right, so let's handle one more thing. Not a big deal. Just want to show you that how you can make the post request as well, because a lot of people get afraid of it. It's nothing to be afraid. It's just a fetch request. You can use Axios for that as well. But let's just say now we write a simple method for handle add to do. Okay. This one is going to be, again, async code. And what we are expecting is you'll give me title in this, which will be of type string. And arrow function would be good. There we go. Now, how can I send a simple that, hey, just add the to-do? For this, look out your APIs and in the to-dos, and we come up here. And let's look at, this is the get request, and this is the post request. So it is expected you'll automatically grab the user ID and then all the things that you are doing. And I'm expecting this piece of code. This is our piece of code which we need to worry about. So title, we need to send this up and this will do all the job. So again, expected is that you will be sending up a post request. These are the two things you need. You can check them into your docs as well, or maybe Postman collection, whoever is giving you that. All right. Since we are talking to the backend, although they are in the same file, same framework, but again, we are talking to a backend because technically the API folder lives somewhere else, not somewhere, but hey, there's a lot of magic happens in NextJS for this API folder. Probably some other day, a YouTube talk, but let's just say I want to await. Let's use a classic fetch. And yes, fetch is not just meant for post request. You can change that to put post any request. I'll say /API/to-do, to-dos, to-dos. There we go. And then you can actually pass on a second parameter where you can mention other request options. For example, one of them, most common one, is the method. You can mention any method that you like. And if you put this, I was expecting suggestions, but they are not here. So post method, that is expected. Whenever you are making a post method, it is expected that you'll also send the headers as well. Not much, but at least one of them, which is very common, content-type. Make sure you don't do any typo on that. C and T are capital in that. And this one will be application/JSON. We are sending a JSON data, so this is a marker of that. And the most important part, don't forget to send the body. All right. So how we are sending the body? Body is being sent or is being expected here in the JSON format. Notice here, we have this one here being everything extracted from a JSON. So just go ahead and say, make sure that you are stringifying JSON.stringify. Come on. There we go. And we are sending the title just like that. Okay, so you have done this and that's it. That is how you actually go ahead and make a post request. Told you, it's super easy. And we'll say response just like this, hold that. And if everything goes great, we can check if things are bad. So if not response.ok, I usually prefer this kind of a code approach. If it is not, then we go ahead and say throw new error. There we go. And we're gonna say failed to add to do, whatever you are doing. And after that, what we can do is maybe want to refetch the value. So we can just go ahead and use our method again, fetch to do's, and we can pass on the current page. And why are you having an issue on current page? We don't have it. Oh, current page is Boolean. Shouldn't be happening that. Current page is not a Boolean. It's definitely shouldn't be Boolean. We can mark it as empty, but by default, we are on page 1. Again, these are the basic minor things. You have to fix the bugs on the go. Not bugs, I would say oversighting. But yeah, you get the idea. If you understand your code base, what's happening, that's my goal. I don't want to give you the exact tutorial that, hey, this is $1 billion idea, but the whole point is to learn how the code is being done. All right, so this is the best part of it. And again, handle the catch part, however you want to handle with this, with maybe with the toast library, maybe just a console log, console.log, and we'll just go ahead and throw the error just like that. It's up to you how you want to handle that. So that's the basic part of it. And again, just like we have handled this, you can make the put request, send the IDs and all these things. Maybe I should handle that. So this is my handle add to do. Let me also walk you through. Since we are already here, we will just spend a couple of more minutes. Don't worry, I'll give you assignments as well. All right. So after that, let me also show you that how you can handle update to do, because that's also a little new, not much, but yeah. I'll say this is also my async code. In this, you are expected that you'll be passing me an ID, that is a string, and you'll also give me a completed status. This is completed. That will be a Boolean. Whatever you want to set, you send me that Boolean value, true or false, totally on you. And let's just go like that. Okay. How do we make a web request on this one? So simple, try catch again. And it's a very repeatable code. Await, we're going to go ahead and say fetch. And again, backticks, quotes, whatever you wish. I want to hit a route, which is /API/to-dos, not just the to-dos. Now you want to go inside this square bracket. So in this square bracket, if you remember, we coded out the functionality of put and delete. So updation and the deletion happens on a unique route. Obvious reasons, we want to send which of the to-do you want to handle. So in this, what you can do is after that, you can just simply say / and you pass on the dollar and whatever the ID you want to pass on. That's it. Now automatically this request will go inside this ID, and now this route will handle it. And notice here I've added the put request here. So we worked on that. If you remember, we worked on the delete. I have additionally worked on to do. Whatever we are doing here is really basic. Basically you send me the to do ID so that I can find that ID, and then whatever the Boolean value you ask me to set, I just set that. Really simple, absolute basic, couldn't be much that. But in this case, the fetch is okay, but the second part is important, which is what kind of additional methods you want to send. So I'll say that, hey, we want to work on a method, which in this case is put. Put is, we could have used patch here as well, but we'll not go in that debate. And then obviously the headers, that will be like this. And we're going to say, no, it's an object. Content dash type, make sure the T is capital, and then we have application / JSON. And what else? We need to send the body. Don't forget to send the body. And there we go. We'll go same stuff, JSON.stringify. I'm pretty sure now you get this. Okay, very repeatable, very repeatable. And we'll say completed. That's it. And that is all what you have to do. Now, whatever comes after that is basic. Nothing much. So let's just hold this into a variable called response. Response. And you know what's next going to come up. Once this is all done, I'll check for the response. You know, very repeatable code. And that's why people love AI in these cases. Response.ok. And here we can just go ahead and say throw. Oh, nice. Throw a new error, and which is going to say fail to update to do. Cool. And if everything is okay, then we want to just await, and we can just fetch to do's again based on the current page. It will update the things. It will update all the things in my in my state will re-render it. All the job will be done automatically, and that's why everybody loves that. Since we have written this much, I am thinking let me just go ahead and write the delete as well. Although I thought I'll be giving you that as assignment, but you have plethora of assignment to work on this application. So handle delete to do. Again, if AI would be enabled, I would have done that much faster. ID will be of type string, oops, lowercase. And we go like that. There we go. Okay, how do we handle that? First of all, await. We simply fire up a fetch request, backticks, where do you want to end up? /API/to-dos, and it's inside a square folder. That means a $, and we'll be passing on an ID. Very repeatable. In fact, so much so that I can just go ahead and grab this object entirely, just like that, copy. And this is what AI does. It just helps me so that I don't have to do this copy paste stuff. So all we gotta do is, we don't need any data or headers. We don't need even headers. Why did I copy it? We just need to send a delete request. That's it. Because that is what is expected in the delete route, that hey, you just send me the ID, I'll grab the ID, and that's it. I'll delete it. So this is it. And now you can do the regular stuff. You get the idea. It's very boring. Const response is equals to like that. If everything goes great, copy paste. Yeah, why not? In fact, copy all of this and paste it up there. So if there is no response good, we'll throw the fail to delete the to do. And we simply go ahead and fetch this basic stuff. We are again fetching the to-dos, basic stuff. Now in the dashboard, I'll definitely give you all the code part of it, but it's all about a matter of all you got to do is just loop through this however you want, in the cards, in the sticky note style, in just the list, however you want to go and work with that. So now it's time that we actually discuss about the assignment as well. See, the most important part which people don't really understand is, yes, you need good mentorship. Yes, you need good coding tutorials and good teachers as well. But the most important part is taking things onto a further level. Whatever you have learned here is great, and I'm pretty sure you have enjoyed it. But the most important part is to finish the project as well as add more functionality to this project. That might be really minimum, maybe slight tweaking in the UI, that is also acceptable, but at least something needs to happen. If you really want to become coder, it's important that you write some code. I have been writing that for years. If I write more, it will be just a length of video, which will be good for me. But what's important is, are you able to write this code? Are you able to understand the core foundation of it? So this is what my challenge now is to you. That step one is to finish up these APIs. I'll show you, we have a lot of them available up here now. So notice here, we have just worked on the dashboard. We have subscribe as well. By the way, you'll find the finished code in my GitHub repo. No worries on that part. We have subscribe as well. So we need to create a page inside that. We have the whole admin functionality. At least give the admin functionality to list all the users. And maybe in each user, he wants to further access all the list as well, and maybe want to update that. It's again a CRUD feature, nothing big deal. So give that at least functionality to the user and try to give me at least a different UI, maybe not the boring UI that we have built, but at least something more on top of that. I would be really, really happy that if somebody adds more functionality on top of this, maybe a little bit of the AI, that would be great. And again, what specially you could do is learn Drizzle and import this entire code from Prisma to Drizzle. That would be a fantastic stuff to do. I would be super, super happy to even mention you, retweet you, and give you more exposure so that potential employee can actually find you if you do that kind of a job. That, hey, Drizzle, I would be super happy with that. Again, there is so much potential in this application, and I'm pretty sure that you not only just gone through with the code, but actually the whole flow of the code, ability to understand it, and all of that. With this, I would say it takes a really great amount of effort in building these kinds of application, and again, rebuilding them so that I can teach them again. Finding them out, it's a lot of effort, not just by myself. Again, the whole team is involved with that. And what we expect in return from you is you'll drop just a comment that, hey, it was useful for us. If you can retweet it, share it on LinkedIn, or just go on to my courses on hitesh.ai/Udemy, that would be so much awesome. Again, not a compulsion, but I would feel really happy if a retweet can be done. That is it for this video. Really enjoyed thoroughly walking through this really long project and fun project with you. Super happy. Do subscribe my channel. I'll bring more such awesome projects as well. That is it for this video, and let's catch up in the next one.